back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Samantha. Welcome back.
Welcome back. How are you, Samantha?
I'm really good. I've been having a really great weekend. Me and my sister spent a lot of good quality time together. Yes, we had like a sleepover because my parents were out of town. And yeah, it was just really fun and just gave me life. So I feel inspired and I feel like I just feel good. I feel hopeful about the future and right now. And yeah, it feels like it's been productive. I've also had a couple of days off of work, which has been reinvigorating me, and I was able to take care of myself just a little bit. I cut my hair, I put on some nails. You know, I got some stuff for myself, and yeah, it's just been I've been doing lots of self-care. So that's my thing right now. What about you?
Well, I just want to say, like, what you're saying reminds me of, like, I know you don't watch Survivor, but there's like an old season and there was this like girl on the show named Janu or something like that, or Janu. Like, she was just like you, like very spiritual and like kind of just like went crazy on the island, like was just super like crazy. But then like she got sent to Extinction Island and she was there alone. And when I tell you she was alone for 24 hours and was like laughing for the first time and like praying to the sand and just like doing all this stuff, came back from Extinction Island like a new person. And it's like, I just feel like that's what happened to you. Like you had a couple of days off and you're like laughing and smiling again.
Oh my God. Yes, that is funny and it's probably true.
I am good. There's so many updates. I mean, I told you earlier, but you know, your girl's employed now. I signed a contract for a job on Saturday, so I'm very excited. Which is July 1st. So I have a couple of days to
She got a job.
And then this weekend was really fun actually. Me and Julia went to Governor's Ball Music Festival, which was so fun. We saw Chapel Room, we saw Monet Rap, we saw SZA. Victoria Monet was supposed to perform, but she's canceled. I was devastated, but
because she was sick or something.
So fun, but I'm still kind of like sore and tired from it. And I told you about the whole fiasco about getting there. That's another day for another. Actually, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because I feel like everyone can relate. So I'll like, you know, just walk us through it a little bit. So like, I'm thinking me and Julie are gonna have like a fun time at the music festival. You know, it'll be like kind of like a little picnic at at the festival. Me and you chill, whatever. So it was in Queens. We're in Brooklyn, so we were prepared for like the hour and like 20-minute commute, whatever. So then Julia gets a text from one of her coworkers and is like, either we're going to Governor's Ball too. Do you want to split Uber with me and my girlfriend? And so she says yes without asking me. So when she tells me, I'm already kind of like, I don't really want to be talking to people. Like I was thinking it's gonna be a chill thing, but whatever. We show up to this girl's apartment to get the Uber. Long story short, it was more than just her girlfriend. All I have to say is the other girl she was with had like body glitter on and gave like very much Kesha vibes. And I was just like, I'm not on this. Like, I'm not on like this drug. Let's get it, like Slizzard, you know, like just like crazy. So we get in the Uber. They immediately put Chapel Roan on the stereo. It's like blasting. She's asking us a question. The girls are like bopping and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. So the whole time we're in the ride for that 40 minutes, I'm texting Julia like, you need to figure out a way to separate. I'm not doing this when I get here. Like I don't have the energy. Like they seem really cool, but I just don't have the energy to like do this.
They don't seem really cool. You're like, I love that.
Like when we don't lie, like so get to the like I'm trying to like find a different line to get in for security to start like the merge, like to start like separating the merge. And like they're like, oh, it's short over here, come, we got shrooms, we got this, we got that. And I'm just like, I was not on this. You have to remember
you skipped a really important part. What? This is where I told you that you could have made your death.
Oh my gosh, yes, I skipped it. Yeah. So we're in the car about like 5 minutes from the place, like literally 5 minutes, and we're in standstill traffic because obviously
it's a concert, it's a festival.
It's a concert, it's a festival. It's a lot of people and a lot of people taking Ubers there. So the girl, Julia's coworker, was like, well, like, let's just get out of we can walk right now. We can walk, right, guys? Like, it's just a look around the corner. And so I'm looking at Julia like, I'm trying to walk here. And like, I'm just like, I'm not trying to walk. Like, I'm already pissed to be in this car. Girl, I'm not trying to walk. And so then Julia tries to like, she gets the vibe. So she tries to say like, well, I don't know if it'll be respectful to the Uber driver if we do that. And then the Uber driver's like, it's cool, no worries.
So, that's where y'all fucked up.
You got the car. So mind you, I'm pissed because we had to walk like a half a mile to get to the place.
See, that's where I wouldn't be.
And when we get to the place, they're like, we got shrooms, we got edibles, and I'm just like, well, we're gonna go and get drinks. And the girl's like, well, I'm hungry. And I'm like, yeah, let's just meet up later, like, whatever. So
like, we're gonna find you.
Exactly. So when we leave, I'm like, Julia, like, we're not meeting up with them for Chapel Roan. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just not on this. So we do Chapel Roan separately. But then after Chapel Roan, they text Julia like, oh, let's meet up for Renee Rapp and let's stand together for Renee Rapp. So I'm just like, oh, wow, she really wants to be your friend. And I'm not trying to like mess up the friendship, but it's just like, you have to understand when you're not on that level, it's just like,
girl,
you can't
you don't
do
gotta
this.
Tell me.
So we meet up for Renee Rapp and like, it's just, the people next to us were like young and like probably like early 20s or like maybe like 19 and they're like doing the conga line. I mean, making a conga line, like just being annoying. And like, at that point I was just like, we're not seeing them for SZA. Like, I'm sorry, I just can't do this. And so then I get a text message. I mean, Julie gets a text message, for SZA and they're just like, oh, we're going to actually like trying to leave early. And I was like down to leave like 5 minutes early to like, to make sure we can get the Uber back because I knew it was going to be like hell getting the Uber back after SZA. But they were like, after like 3 songs we're leaving. And so I was just like, I don't know. I had a lot of thoughts about that. I'll say for another day. But I was just kind of like, interesting how y'all were so pressed to see Chapel Roan and Renee Rapp. But the minute SZA comes, it's like, we'll stay for 3 fucking songs. Anyway, so at that point, Julie was like, well, I feel obligated, like we might have to ride back with them because we rode there with them and like we're splitting Uber. We're splitting the Uber and they might like be expecting that we'll like, to pay that level of money. And I was just like, and this is my fucking thing about like carpooling. I've learned this the hard way with fucking Selena's when we were in high school in like 18, 19. Don't go to a move with somebody who wants to stay till midnight and you're ready to go at 10. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, because you're beholden. You're sitting at a miserable. And so I feel like literally that was this, where it was just like, that's why you fucked up and you shouldn't have said yes to the carpool initially, because now they're expecting to pay that same price on the way back and now you're beholden to them and you can't do what you fucking want to do. So I told Julia, look, I'm not getting back with him. I'm not trying to be in another fucking cab ride blasting Kesha TikTok. I'm like, and it's just like, and it's like, I'm in.
Oh my God, Alexis. I don't know how you did it.
She was like, I get it. And so like, we ended up taking Uber by ourselves back. But it's it just made me think about how like, other people can like derail your plans so quickly and kill your vibe so quickly. And not even these are girls, but it was just like so annoying. And just how carpooling is really like the worst thing ever. Like I hate carpooling. I don't know about you. What are your thoughts on carpooling and things like that?
I have a lot of thoughts. Well, for one, I've been telling you like festivals are just a lot in general. You really have to, it's hard to go with a lot of people. Like it becomes too much already. And these are people that you don't even know or want to be around. So I just feel like it makes me think about like, I feel like I'm just at this point where I'm just like, I will say the awkward thing. Like, I don't care about being them thinking whatever, because I don't want to walk a mile. Like, I will not do it. I would just be like, okay, like, I'm like, okay, like, yeah, like, that's a good idea. Like, you guys can get out. Like, we're going to just ride up there. Like, our legs are tired, whatever. I would have said whatever. And I would have not, I just feel like, I feel like I'm just at a point where it's just like, we're all grown and like, there shouldn't be any expectations of, like you're with your girlfriend and y'all are with your friends. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do what we need to do, and they were quick to leave at SZA, know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, they were not like pressing, like, whatever. Like, I feel like I just, as your friend, I just be hoping, because you be in situations like this a lot.
These situations find me. It's
and
like
it's crazy because Alexis, to people that she's like really close with, she does not give a fuck about like if we're taking something or whatever. But these strangers, like, all of a sudden we care about what they care.
you
like
make a good
making you uncomfortable. Whatever. You can do that and still hold your boundaries and not walk a mile or like do shit that you do not like, ruining your experience. Like, I don't give a fuck. If I like people, especially that I want to see and I want to have a certain experience, I am not sacrificing that for anybody.
What
like
thoughts on like carpooling? I feel like for me, it always ends up in a bad situation because it's like I want to fucking leave when the person doesn't, or
absolutely,
it's always like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's rare that you're like on the like.
Same page,
it's
right?
A lot of times it does turn. I do have a lot of fond memories though.
Yeah.
Riding with my girls and like, like sometimes it's obviously a pleasure and we used to do that shit, but it's just like now when I'm ready to go, I gotta have the control or I'm gonna be so pissed. Like, I'm gonna just be, just like really like how they're like your social battery is like 0. Like, and yeah, I mean, sometimes it like you go on like a fun adventure or whatever, but it has to be with people that I can be like, come on, like, I'm ready to go. I have to be able to like feel comfortable being like that, or I need my own.
I agree. I feel like there's a level of comfortability you have to have with someone for it to be fun to carpool, because it's like in this situation, we didn't know them like that. So we felt compelled to fucking talk the whole ride there. You know what I'm saying? Or just be engaged the whole way there. Where it's like, if I'm in the car with you and Courtney, I could be on my fucking phone and not care.
Right.
So, also, when you carpool, there's this pressure of like, oh, I guess we're hanging out when we get there. And it's like, especially if you don't know the people, you're not comfortable to be like, well, I'll see you at the end, or I'll see you later. Thanks for the ride. And then there's this pressure to like, well, you have to be on each other's time to leave. And it's just like, and I'm at the age now where it's like, I'll Uber there or drive myself or like take the public transportation and meet you there. I love to be on my own time. Money. Right. I'm like, and I always say this to Julia, like, I'm at the point now where it's like comfortability over the check. It's like,
yes,
I'd rather, if I'm like, I told her this, I'm like, if we're visiting someone in a different city, I'm no longer sleeping on their couch. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm in a hotel. If I'm going somewhere, I really don't want to be packed in a car, in a Uber with 7 other people. Like, I'd rather just take the Uber myself. It's like, I'm at the age now where it's just like, I'm not that pressed to save $7. Like.
I definitely agree. And I love it. I love this comfort. I love prioritizing my sleep and like real things. I hopefully one day I'll like have, me and my sister were actually talking about this because we were watching Girlfriends, and how Joan's house is just so beautiful. She's like in her 30s and how like Lynn like basically like lives with her and like pays rent and just like have people over like that. And Danielle was like, would you ever want to do that? Like, if you had a friend like Lynn, like stay with you for whatever. And I was like, I definitely would. I want to be like a host for sure. Like, I want to like have like a comfortable situation that people could come over and like have a good time or whatever. But that's kind of besides the point. I just feel like, I prioritize my comfort and experience above all at this point. Like, I just can't. Can't. Especially when I know I have like my comfortable ass bed and couch and, things that I love at home. Like, I feel like I've always been like this. I have always, since I've entered the workforce in 2014, I was always a work from home girl. I was like, why do I have to come into these offices?
That's me right now.
I have a computer. I got my phone. We can get on the meeting. Why do we have to do this? So, but I definitely think with the pandemic and stuff, it's like even more. It's just like, but I do feel like this is kind of a tangent. I do feel like the pandemic has, and maybe this was like this before, but just like affected the way we like get dressed. Like I feel like I'm always in like loungewear, I guess. And it's not that I don't want to, I love to be comfortable, but sometimes I really dream about moving out of this country, and that's what they say, like in Italy, like, or just in Europe or wherever people are living now. It's just like you want to get dressed up, you want to put on something nice, like it's just a part of life. But anyway, that's a tangent. I feel like the pandemic is affecting us in ways that we're still figuring out. But anyway,
that's real. But let's get to it. Who, you can start today. Who's on trial?
Well, I feel like you should start because I feel like you brought most of these things to the table.
You asked me.
So, Alexis, who is on trial this week?
I first want to talk about. There's so many things this week. I first want to talk about Fenty hair again. I want to run it back because everybody
gotta run it back.
Everybody last week was just being like, "Oh my gosh, Fenty hair!" And like that promo pic was like her in a blonde pixie cut, and everybody was laughing and trolling it because they were like,
"Oh my god,
it's a wig. We want to see the real hair." So this
they had the washing picture with the wig on.
Like that's like criminal. A picture of they had a promo picture as well, as Samantha said, of them washing Rihanna in the wig. Okay, like acting as if it's real hair. And so people are like, well, we need to see her real hair like y'all did for Beyonce and Sacred. So Rihanna answered and she posted a picture of her with her little curly pixie fro. And so
it is wild that we have that much power as a community.
And literally
what? We've never seen Rihanna.
I know, we really haven't. And she showed us, and people, I feel like it has just been like feedback, like whether it's positive or negative, she has gotten like a full range of responses. And so maybe Samantha, like in the notes, can like put a picture, like the picture of the cut.
I will.
But what were your thoughts when you saw it? Because, well, let me just say, sorry, before, I know I always do this, I ask you a question and then I like say something really quickly. But,
I love it.
But people were just like doing things like, for example, there was like a tweet that someone put Blue Ivy in a picture with her natural hair and just said Blue Ivy has more hair than her. And then there's been like other things where like comments being like she needs Sacred and like, and so basically,
oh my god.
And then there's been the other side where people are being like, it's anti-black as hell. Like she has short hair. There's nothing wrong with having short hair. She has thin hair. There's nothing wrong with having thin hair. People have different densities, and y'all are like really showing your ass right now. And then there's like the other side where people are just like, her hair just looks damaged though. Like some people are just like, her hair just doesn't look healthy. Like it's looking like it was fighting to get the curl to show, and it just looks really thin. And
don't make me spit out my drink like this. You're annoying. I want to know what you think about how her quality looks, especially you.
You're so funny.
You are the hair doctor, okay? So I want to know what your thoughts were when you saw the picture, actually.
So this is the thing. I have a lot of thoughts. I feel like the picture didn't do it justice. I just think her hair with the blonde color, right? Like as a natural hair, it made it look thinner than it might be. I feel like if she had a black curly fro,
blonde it
really strips your hair.
Damage your hair. I know people.
And it's like, I feel like if she had black in the curls, people would be having a wholly different conversation. I did immediately when I saw it, I think I was like, she has a pretty curl pattern, but I'm a little underwhelmed, I guess, because I mean, I kind of said this last week. I feel like this is a money grab. Like, what is your connection to hair? I mean, she's had iconic hair, but I'm talking about like hair, health, and care. That's why I was like, give us the fun fragrances. Like we said last week, give us the dyes and stuff, because that's like
sprays.
Because when I think of Rihanna, I think of like the red hair from like the man down era, the bob.
Who is on these girls' teams?
Exactly.
Like, and Rihanna is known for color.
Right. So when I heard that this was about to be like hair health, I was like, interesting. And so seeing her hair, it was a little underwhelming because to me it did look a little damaged, I guess. Like, and it maybe not damaged, but just like not as healthy as I was expecting it. I was expecting it to be fuller. I was expecting the curls to be a little more like popping. I was expecting it to be a little bit more dense.
I didn't know Rihanna's hair was that short, to be honest.
I didn't know that either. And part of me thinks a lot of people are suspecting that like this is actually part of the marketing and that she did a big chop and she's gonna show us over the next year how like her product grows her hair, which I think is really cool, and it puts your money where your mouth is. But part of me said like it looked like this. It looked like someone fresh getting a big chop after having like heat damaged ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess I was a little underwhelmed. I'm not trying to say it was ugly or anything, but I was expecting more of what we saw for Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you're a rich person.
What I was expecting.
Sorry, this is my final thing. It's like you're a rich person, so I always expect that rich people, as I always say, there's more responsibility. And so I guess I just thought like you probably have like a team of people that do your hair that make sure it's healthy and make sure that it's like. So I was expecting like a Beyonce because I feel like it's clear that like that's what's been happening with Beyonce for the past couple of years. She has actually people around her that have been like healthily managing her hair, and I feel like for this it was just kind of like. But I mean, if she just cut it, that's understandable. What are your thoughts?
I am just like, this whole thing has happened so fast. Like the announcement.
I do think her Fenty hair event hair looked better than the picture of her leaving the hotel. Like,
what was the event hair? The one that she posted?
It was the same, but it was as if she saw the feedback of her just like out and about and like really put some like gel mousse and shit in it.
Well, she got ready for her event, so
exactly. Yeah. So I think that looked better. But sorry, go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt you again.
I think that, like there's some shock value, but it feels reactive. It feels like, it just feels like you said, it feels like a money grab. It feels like we forced you to take your wig off because nobody was going to let you live it down. And then it's like, first of all, it hasn't even been like a week since maybe I've heard that she's teased a hairline. It was announced like a week ago, and now her hair is out. And so it's just like, it's just happening really fast, and it's not landing, and it's I just wonder who the people on their team are who don't know that Rihanna, what she's known for in terms of hair. All of her looks that we have seen are color. Like, that's what you think of. You think of the pink hair when she has a pixie cut, or on at the games, at the NBA games.
Each album was hair, like Umbrella era, it was like the asymmetrical black bob. It was like Rated R era, it was like the pixie cut blonde hair. Like the Man Down era, it was like the red hair. Like, I feel like it goes with her albums, and so it was just kind of like for you to actually be focusing on hair health rather than just like the aesthetic of it, which is shocking. Especially, I don't know, like what it did, like.
Yeah, it feels rushed. It feels very rushed. Like, y'all didn't really think about this too much. Like, who is Rihanna? And it's crazy because there's tons of people. Like, there's this girl, I don't know if you've seen her. She had a TikTok that was going around, and she does all these really cool like braiding styles, like all types of shapes and whatever. I'll post her in here, but like, getting somebody like her to do the campaign and doing just cool, quirky stuff. It just feels like this is weird. This is like a weird shift for her, because I feel like health, besides like the skin line, especially in terms of hair, it feels like that's never been her thing. It's been like, fuck it, let's dye it red. It's like, let's chop it off. Let's like, I don't know.
So what did you think of like, will you be buying Fenty hair? Like, do you see her hair and you're like, oh yeah, I like it. Like, let's do it.
I am not running out to buy Fenty hair. I'm curious where they're going to sell it. Is it coming out in Sephora?
I'm sure eventually it will. Right now, I saw that they're like the pre-sale opens, I think, on the 13th, and you can start buying online.
Hell no. I would love to smell it and see it.
What would it have taken though for you to buy Fenty hair? Because I feel like with Sacred, you were like, oh, like, you know, you were in the website launch. I remember you like looking on the website and like already thinking about the things you want to buy. Why aren't you like that with Fenty hair? Because at that point we hadn't seen Beyonce's hair.
I honestly haven't done that to BH. Like I've gone on her site, I checked it out, I saw like what she had, but in terms of what I would be purchasing, I don't really know. And like I know some people do, like they're like, I want the rice water, blah blah blah. I don't know what I would buy, but I do feel like even Beyonce's rollout just felt more intentional. This felt really rushed. Like I feel like with hers, I feel like especially with Mama Tina being, you know, the face with Beyonce for this line. And I do have respect for Mama Tina and, you know, her knowledge of hair and all of that. I feel like that made me be like, oh, like I want to see what this is about. And then when I saw like the ingredients, when I smelled it, I was like, okay, like, and even now I'm not like, when I get some coins and I have some, you know, disposable income for something like that, I would try it out. But for me, what it would really have to take, because right now where I'm at on my hair journey, I'm not like growing my hair really, like I'm just having fun, I guess. I mean, I'm always taking care of my hair, but you know, I'm dyeing it, I'm cutting it. It would have to be something that I would use, which would be like a gel or a leave-in, a dye, even like edge control or something. Like that would be really cool if Rihanna had like a really good edge control, which I did see that she is coming out with that. So I'm gonna be
edge control.
I'm gonna be keeping my ear out just to see if people are liking that or whatever. I really want to see what it smells like too. That's really important to me. So yeah,
the smell
but honestly,
is the best part. Rihanna was like, she like has a whole promo ad about the smell and the notes and the da-da-da. But I mean, I think for this, it's just like, again, I feel like with celebrities, I just always assume things are a money grab and you have to prove me wrong. And I think a lot of people were thinking that with that first initial picture when she was just like out and about, like her hair looked a little dry. And now, I don't even really care about the length because everybody has to start from somewhere, and she might just be intentionally wearing it like that. I don't really care about the length.
That's what we do.
It's more so like the quality of the actual like hair health, and people, you know, it looked a little, you know, people are saying it looked a little dry.
It's not looking like Khalees. And
no, it's not.
Like you've been putting honey oils and stuff in your hair.
And so it's just like people were just like, I don't know about this, but I think we'll have to see.
I just wanted to say, like, I just think my thing was just like that. I've never seen. It's just crazy how much power we have. Like, that's like because I'm not running out to buy these things. I feel like just I'm paying attention to like the marketing and just seeing like her reaction and her now putting out a picture with her hair out. It's just like it's just very interesting, and it's just is like, wow, like you really heard this feedback and we're like, okay, we're taking it out, we're going out. And
it's just like at a certain point you have to. It's like, I think again about like Tracee Ellis Ross, it's like we have seen her natural hair from
you have to
we
with
met
hair.
Her. And that's why we didn't need any more proof than her saying, I'm coming out with a line of products. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why people, you know, have been, I feel like I would love to see like the finances for like the Taraji line, the Gabrielle Union line. Cause it's like, I don't think I've ever seen any of their real hairs to be real. And then also it's like, you know, Sacred and Fenty, it's like, it seems like, to me, it's like Tracee Ellis Ross was the perfect person to come out with pattern, you know, but it's like, everyone else to me seems like a money grab, and I'm happy to hear that Sacred does apparently have quality products. And I know the deep conditioner got like an award, and I'm excited to try the deep conditioner one day. But it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like I agree with you. It seems rushed. It seems like she saw the critique.
Where's the value?
It seems like she saw the critique and was like, okay, so take the weave out now. Take the tracks out now. You know what I'm saying? It's like tomorrow she's going to be seen with her real hair. We're cutting off the damage ends. And it's just like,
Alexis. Yeah, it looked like she got a new haircut, you know, like to announce to the world. And
exactly.
It's just.
And I like the idea of seeing it grow with the product. But I'm gonna need. I should have seen.
You just can't be so obvious and like it just kind of like lazily just like, and then try to convince us that there was a lot of thought put behind this, you know, and that I should put this on my head.
She said at her release party, this is the longest she's ever taken to like release a product.
Oh my God, girl.
And then she was like, "Oh wait, I meant R9." So I'm like, okay, so that means she's at least been working on this for like 6-7 years.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry, Rihanna. I just kind of don't believe that. Like, you might have had this idea, yes. Like, there's plenty of ideas that I have that I've made like gradual progress, but in terms of like getting in the fucking lab and testing shit and, you know, whatever, like, I just don't buy that you put all that time in. But hey, maybe it'll come out and it'll be amazing.
People just so sacred because, like, I don't know if you saw like her promo videos, but like all of her promo videos are like, you know, kind of like how she did Fenty, like the skincare, which is like her talking about it, her being playful and just showing the Rihanna like personality we all love and are attracted to. And people are just like, we believe off the strength of the marketing alone, she might sell more because it's like she's giving what we want from Beyonce. Like, the girlie was so happy that day Beyonce released that video where she was like, well, now that Sacred's released, let me show you how it works on my head.
Yes.
We were so happy to hear her voice and see her personality. And so I just feel like if Beyonce, it's interesting because I wonder what the critiques have been if Beyonce did some of these like little short Instagram videos talking about the product and being cute and fun that Rihanna
should totally do that. I don't know why. This would be the time, Beyonce, because people are, you know, you gotta give the magic, because people are having a lot of questions.
What's the questions?
Well, this might be a good segue for us to go to who else is on trial, which is Jay-Z, Mr. Carter,
Mr. Khan himself.
And yeah, he's getting a lot of bad press. I mean, for good reasons.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, please tell us, Alexis. Please tell us.
I'm gonna pull up a little article for
an educator.
Okay, so he's basically like spearheading an educational campaign in Philadelphia that helps specifically K-12 students from low-income households secure about $300 million in scholarships to attend the city's private schools. And so they're basically, Rock Nation is hosting events that will bring awareness to the Pennsylvania Award for Student Success, which is the scholarship we're talking about, which is backed by Senate Bill 757. And it's helping increase education opportunities for underprivileged youth in low performing schools in Philadelphia. So on face value, you hear that and you're like, great, money for
amazing.
Schools.
Oh my God, 300 million? Like,
yes.
What?
But then you like really get into it and you think about it. And I actually feel like this would have been a really good episode to like have another educator on here just to talk about it, but basically it's being this is a bill that is actually being oh my God, I want to find the exact tweet. Okay, here we go. It's this is like Rock Nation is basically actually working with the Republican billionaire donors to kind of like undercut the public school system in Philly. So basically he's kind of, Rock Nation is selling this kind of right-wing agenda and education policies pushed by like somebody who wants to be on Trump's cabinet. And that would basically end up taking millions of dollars from public schools and putting them into private schools or charter schools choice, as people like, you know, school choice as people like to talk about. And the last thing I wanted to say was there was one more. Nicole Hannah-Jones, who I like highly respect, made like a really good tweet that I like wanted to read about this situation. And for those who don't know Nicole Hannah-Jones, she is the creator of the 1619 Project, which had everybody up in arms years ago. Okay, so She said, I really wish rich, out of touch folks who know nothing about education would just stop. Read the fine print. This is a government voucher program. Voucher programs have not been shown to improve results for poor Black children because most cannot get into high quality private schools. Read the fine print. All of the money is coming from taxpayers, i.e., the government. Rock Nation is not funding this. This is just launching an educational campaign that maybe it is being paid to do. I'm researching, but certainly its involvement is to convince poor Black parents to leave the public schools. What do you think that $300 million could do for improving those low performing public schools? It is a lie that these programs do not take from public school funding. Fewer kids in the classroom means fewer dollars to the school. This is a windfall to the city's private schools at the expense of public ones that most kids attend.
Yes.
And so I feel like it kind of goes back to what we talk about every week, which is this idea of like
billionaires gone billionaire.
Billionaires gonna be like Black billionaires don't. It doesn't matter if you have this.
This was the biggest example,
you know. And again, I remember, like I always say, I remember having that conversation, and it's just like again, like Black billionaires. It's not representation. Representation doesn't matter when it's about capitalism. I feel like because at the end of the day, you're going to reinforce the same same policies that allow you to maintain and stay a billionaire. And that ends up usually at the expense of marginalized communities. And I also just feel like
that
it
you
also
came
just
from.
kind of shows, I just feel like, I mean, I don't want to call anyone anti-Black or anything like that, but I feel like it does like make you wonder like what money does to
why do you make these decisions?
Not even Black person, but like what does money does to anyone? You know, why do you make these decisions?
You are out of touch.
You're out of touch. You are not you are just not connected to the human experience.
Make decisions about how most people live when you don't live anywhere near how we live.
Exactly.
And you think you know.
Like that's what I'm saying. You didn't attend Philly public schools. Like excuse me. I feel like
it's like
literally it's
like why Philly
and it's just I don't know, it's just like to me it's just like
it's weird.
Jay-Z, I mean I feel like finally we're again seeing like this beginning to talk about what about Jay-Z, you know, because I just feel like he's able to be hidden by the shield of Beyonce, and I feel like there's a lot of also probably things if we looked back to see what Beyonce did, there might be other connections like this too, you know, but I just feel like it goes to show like being a Black billionaire or whatever, Latino billionaire, whatever billionaire, at the end of the day, you're still reinforcing things that like keep you a billionaire and hurt a marginalized community.
And you're being used
a pawn. And secondly, it's just like, do you not know this? Because if you don't, you don't deserve this and
that's what I was
platform.
Yes, like, and that's what I was gonna say. So I listened to the Higher Learning podcast.
I love Higher Learning, yes,
where they talked about this, and they had Kamika Royal on there, and she just answered all my questions. So I'm gonna put that in the show notes.
We'll share some of the stuff she said.
Yes, I'm going to. And also, I started watching Mark Lamont Hill, his like podcast talking about it, and like it's crazy that Jay-Z, like, well, basically she just said, just like you said, like this is something that is an old practice, an old right-wing practice of, you know, this voucher and school choice. And it's like they also made it a point to say like he's saying that he's raising this money, he's not donating this money. Like, what does that even fucking mean? And everybody's just like, they're just, because you can see like people are just like, does he just not know? But nobody thinks that Jay-Z is that stupid. Like, you know, it's just like Jay-Z is, we literally admire him for his intelligence and having like
he says he's the best businessman. So it's like, you knew the deal about this, you know what I'm saying? You knew, right? If you're executive a businessman, then you were informed and making an informed decision that was just a terrible one, and one that was kind of corrupt.
And the person, what is his name? It's something James Yaz or whatever. Let me look it up. That's the right wing person that you're talking about.
Hold on, I think I have the name.
Let me see. But yeah, that's the person that you were just talking about. that he made a deal with. This man is also a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's an architect.
Mm-hmm.
He's the richest man in Philly.
Mm.
He said that apparently this is a quote of his, that somebody that's making 100K and a billionaire are not very different. Literally, it's like, what the fuck are these people smoking?
Like crazy if you
and
believe
like,
that.
and I just am like, it is just so, it's so, because yes, Amika Royal, she mentioned how Jalen Hurts, he donated to the Philly public schools and he donated air conditioning.
Mm-hmm. I saw that, yeah.
Yes. And it's like, if you really wanted to help, like, why aren't you just like,
because we know what
trying to,
this is probably doing for Jay-Z, and that's either making him money or securing him like some type of partnership, loyalty, or like an IOU or something like that benefits him either in business or in making more money. Like this to me screams that. You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is. That's all it is. Like, you cannot tell me, like, this stuff is highly researched, like, if you're going to come into the education space, if you're going to come into the education space and throw around numbers like 300 million and just throw it out like a headline and think that people aren't going to know exactly what the fuck this is, it's like, but again, this has happened before. I mean, maybe not as obvious, even though I feel like a lot of people may not be paying attention as much. I hope people are. But like with the NFL, like...
sorry, I do. I just want to, like, before we move on to the NFL from the
oh no, I'm just literally, we're going to go back.
Example.
Yes, I'm giving an example.
This reminds me of, I read this article for school by Kristen Burroughs, and it's called Race, Charter Schools, and Conscious Capitalism, on the spatial politics of whiteness as property and the unconscionable assault on Black New Orleans. And it's basically about, and I didn't know this until I read the article, but how after her, like, basically billionaires and millionaires took the opportunity that was laid upon them post Katrina in New Orleans and the education system to like demolish and abandon New Orleans public schools and make New Orleans district an all charter school district.
Yep.
And so in the city of New Orleans, there's no public schools. It's like wild to think of. It is all charter schools. And you read the article and you realize how they literally saw Katrina. They were there when Katrina happened, and they had a meeting like 3 days post Katrina, the hurricane, where they only invited these white millionaires and billionaires, and they like made with like politicians and like signed bills and laws into practice to immediately effectively shut down the public school systems in New Orleans and start building private schools. And I don't know if that's the case in Philly, but what I'm trying to say is you could see in that situation, that's why she calls it capitalism in there, and you could see in that situation, and whiteness as property, which is a very interesting like thought, you can literally see how like you can make money off of turning everything into choice and turning everything into privatization, everything.
And you also have to think about, I think you also have to think about, in privatization of education, you have so much control over what you're teaching these kids, how they are receiving their education,
how you talk to them, the culture.
You can like make little soldiers or some crazy shit.
Absolutely. And that's the critique people have about charter schools all the time. I mean, I taught at a charter school and we definitely was doing that.
And Kamika Rose made a point to say, like, charter schools, sometimes we're not using that, like, because they still are government funded somehow or whatever. But she did make a point to, like, say something, not saying that it's, like, good or bad, but just saying that, like, technically tax-paying dollars are paying towards charter schools versus, like, a private school. But But yeah, it was just
It's
very
just,
interesting.
I
And
just
I'm
think
just
it's
like, wow, right
interesting.
now, too? Right
I
now?
just think it's
You
interesting because I
can't
just
tell
feel
me
like
that you didn't know that this man
he
is,
knew. He
he knows.
knew. He doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
he
at this
doesn't
point, I
care.
just feel like it's exactly what we talk about all the time. It's like at
Yeah,
the end of the
because
day,
people don't
they
care.
don't care about this. The values, the principles, they go out the fucking door when
Mm-mm.
there's a certain level of money. I feel like you can make and you will make and you're sitting on. And I feel like
Mm.
he no, because at the end of the day, he can be like, well, okay, well, like we can, you know, it sounds good. It's like, yeah, we can give $300 million to private school. I mean, to charter schools, and poor black kids can go there. But it's just like he doesn't. It's like it's
To
what I said all
be,
the time, where it's just like capitalists don't give a fuck about this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't care
but
about this
to
other stuff.
be
He wants to make
like,
money.
but to be like actively a part of the
He
problem,
doesn't care.
I know he doesn't care, but for us, it's like, that's crazy. You know, like we really have to, we got to wake up, people. Like, and I
It's
know,
because he's still
I
gonna
feel like,
people still are gonna call him this. People are still gonna say he's an
I
advocate
mean,
for the black
yes,
community because he's
but
a black wife.
I
Still
do
gonna
say
all
that
that.
I do feel like people are bringing criticism, like hearing it on Higher Learning and then hearing Mark Lamont Hill talk about it. It's just like, no, like you're not about to pull the wool over our eyes. This shit is, we have people that are real educators
That's true.
and people that are, you're gonna, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
$1 million to the public school
but
teachers in
listen,
Philadelphia. Why don't you do that?
but listen, what I'm saying is like, you're gonna start losing, you know, because people aren't just
Do you
sitting back
really
and
think
just,
that?
yes, because me and you, people like us that listen to Higher Learning, that listen to Mark Hill, that whatever, that are looking at these people like, that's not adding up. I do feel like this is the like probably the most we've seen of like real criticism of some of these celebrities. Honestly, I do feel like we are in a
Do you
different
think he
time.
will have a material consequence to this?
I don't know. That I don't know because I feel like yeah, like right now, no, like, you know, like right now it's still just in the blogs and he's had bad press before
Exactly.
and Jay-Z has always like, and this has even been a part of his like allure, like people talk about how he's like a Sagittarius and he doesn't give a fuck and he's like, you know, he's detached and he's able to, you know, rise up by like making chess moves and whatever, and that's why he did the NFL because he's trying to get us in these places and blah blah blah. Like
I would
I
love
feel,
people to stop talking about like that. Go ahead.
but I just am saying like I do feel like we're hearing more criticism from, and it's not like we're fucking at, you know, we're just smoking weed talking about this or we're at the barbershop talking about this. No, it's like the Breakfast Club. I haven't seen what they said about it yet, but you know, like people are listening to this and people are looking at you sideways. We are a culture now that needs to see who you are. Just like we said, Rihanna's coming and showing us, you know, her using her whatever. And yeah, like personally, I'm just like, no, like I'm not fucking having that shit. That's
It's
wild.
just because I just feel like at the end of the day, his reputation will still remain as it is.
So right
And
now, who
yeah,
knows?
who
We've
knows?
seen,
Unless he
we're
goes
seeing,
all like Diddy, I don't think
yeah,
this
that's what
is
I'm saying. We've
unfortunately
seen Diddy.
they'll take it away of money, or like not even that. Unfortunately, what's the word?
Yes,
Like the
it can get covered up real
incentivizing of
fast.
the incentivizing of people to go to charter schools and the like
It's arguable.
implicitly, you know, undervaluing public schools in this action is not enough for not even black people. It's not enough for anybody to, but he has a mostly, I would say, black fan base to like detract from supporting him. So I just feel like at the end of the day, like if this isn't enough, I don't know what would be, because this affects black children, our youth, like in
People don't
specifically a
think
black
about it like
city.
that.
I feel
And
like
Quinta she tries to educate
you
us.
saw legendary schools. You saw that.
Right. That's literally what it's like. You are
Somebody
funding
tweeted that.
the villain, quote unquote, of the Abbott Elementary show that we all love. Like, are you crazy?
Somebody tweeted, no, they literally
They
said
can't
this.
paint their walls at Abbott, and you want to give the money to the charter schools.
No, somebody said,
Like, give these babies.
Abbott children to move to legendary schools instead of funding Abbott. And that's literally what it is.
Literally.
It's just like, but again, I
That's
don't
the
think this is
simplest thing,
enough.
people.
People are still gonna say he's down with the Black community, yada yada yada. So it's like, I don't know, unless like some shit comes
Who
out
says
on a
that?
I feel like people look at him as a businessman who is like a good idol for the Black community. He's a billionaire. He went from a rapper to this, like, I would say, like, he rebranded like a refined businessman. He has a Black, this Black successful family. They're creating generational wealth for Black people. I feel like they idolize that, but they don't look at his moves. And his moves are like, he has moves with fucking Amazon. He has like deals with fucking NFL. He now has deals with this fucking
billionaires hang with billionaires.
It's not actually good shit, but people still, I feel like, look at him and put him on a fucking pedestal.
I think you're right. I think people do, but I also feel like, personally, I do feel like more people are looking critically, and you know, like, it takes a little bit more to, like, especially with the Diddy shit, and especially because people like, now people want to, like, it's kind of scary, but it's also necessary. Like, people want to find out, like, if you're a fucking, you know, predator or something. Like, you will get found out. Like, there's like a thirst for, like, who is next? Like, for real, we want to know who the fuck is out here doing crazy shit. But I will say that I just, yeah, I feel like like, we need more. I feel like this is a good more transition. What? We need more. You really need to have like a clean, I don't know, girl. Cause I feel like you're right, because there's tons of people in our Black community that we know have done crazy shit that we still embrace, that we still whatever.
Hell yeah.
And so it's like, what does the real integrity look like? What does it actually look and feel like?
And what does consequence look like? I feel like at the end of the day, what is this? We're seeing all these bad fucking deals. What does it actually look like for him to be held accountable? I don't know, but I feel like that's a question I'm curious and want everyone to think about. Like, what does it look like? Because
I would love to hear from him.
I feel like the shield of Beyonce allows him to kind of like evade accountability.
But I think about, like, I feel like Jay-Z, he's talked to us more than Beyonce has, not in like recent years.
Well, yeah, like, and he had the Gayle King sit down interview when he had this thing at the Brooklyn Museum. Like, I feel like he actually is like, doing
so it's
stuff.
like, this is like a lot of bad press. Like,
hell yeah,
you just want to let this one slide. You know, I'm just paying attention to that. But I also, with this, it's very clear. Billionaires are gonna billionaire. The fact that you are partnering with this right-wing conservative ass Trump cabinet person is highly concerning, and you're throwing out numbers like 300 million, which is a crazy amount to say.
It's just exactly what you talked about, and I feel like you told me this, and I'll never forget this, but you were just like, you know, at a certain level of money, you don't hear no, you can get anybody on the phone, you can whatever. And I feel like we see this. I feel like part of it is like, at a certain level of money, and I'm talking billionaire status, you can kind of evade accountability. And it's like, even like Rihanna, like, that was a whole fucking hit piece that came out with Rihanna's Fenty skincare, when we found out they were using child labor. People still talking about buying Fenty hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that alone should have been enough for people to have been like, we boycott this brand, we no longer use it. People did that. People did do more when they hear about them testing it out on animals. They literally will boycott something. But literally actual child labor, and people literally still are talking about Fenty hair. So I feel like, and she's a billionaire too. I feel like a part of me is like, I wonder if at a certain level of money, and I'm not talking like multi-millionaire, I'm talking billions of dollars, if you can kind of evade accountability. Because at that point,
definitely can.
It doesn't matter.
You definitely can. They definitely deal with, you know, media circuses, all, like, this is a part of it. They're just trying to move on, trying to get us to forget, whatever.
Sorry, where did you want to segue to? Let's end it on a
I wanted to segue to Will Smith and his weekend, the box office. Bad Boys 4 just came out, And I just find it really interesting that this is, I feel like, the first time since the slap at the Oscars that like the culture is kind of like showing up and embracing him and just like, like loving on him outwardly. Because he did have like, it's like the last movie I believe was like Emancipation, which I have not seen. But yeah, like Will Smith was like kind of like, people really canceled, quote unquote, Will Smith after the slap. And I don't know if you saw Stephen A. Smith talking about how,
I did see people talking about it, but what did he say?
Yes, he basically was just like, Will Smith needs to come out and apologize about slapping him, and he shouldn't have like this. I'm gonna put a clip.
I really don't like Stephen A.
But it's like, and he was like, yeah, like I'm friends with Chris Rock, so blah blah blah, and it's just like, okay, like what are you doing? Like, shut up. Like, you really sound like somebody's uncle that's just talking. But what I was gonna say is, and again, we don't know these people. I don't know Will Smith. I do feel like I feel like this has been, like right now, like the things that I know about Will Smith, I feel like are pretty okay things, like I haven't heard about him being like a predator ever, like.
So what is your like point that you're saying, like people are saying that Bad Boy?
It's just kind of cool. It's just like, I basically just want to talk about how, Will Smith was supposedly canceled, and I want to know how you felt about that when it happened, because it was such a fucking big deal. I remember when I was working at the agency, people were just like personally offended. Like, I remember that, and I was pissed. I was just like, I cannot believe I have white people in this meeting talking about this outwardly, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, white people are all up in black people's business. Obviously, like the way I feel about it, it's like, it was shocking. Nobody condones violence. Will Smith said sorry, and we moved on. Like, we moved on. Like, I feel like they really attempted to, like,
it's just interesting how America works and everything, because I feel like, especially in relation to this Jay-Z thing, where it's like Hollywood, where it's just like, he did, yes, like you said, whatever, we don't condone violence, but it's like he slapped one other person. The harm and the effect that happened to one person. And it was like, cancel this man right now. He has to apologize. He's banned from coming to the award show for 10 years. And they almost contemplated arresting him and not even giving him his award that night. But then we have flash forward to, I would say, like the Jay-Z thing, where it's like, this will impact millions of black children or in public schools, or Diddy, how this affects. But I wouldn't even go. Yeah, Diddy. We can go into Diddy. His like, or just like the dreamer. I don't know. But it's just like, I think about people who do like actual like harm to structures. Like institutions that people then have to live in these conditions. And I think about like the NFL situation and all with Jay-Z and the now Philadelphia school district, and it's just like, but this action is not cancelable, even though it hurts and affects way more people. This action is not cancelable. Will Smith hurt one person. Objectively, the only harm was on one person, and now it is enough to cancel and ask for an open apology. But we're not asking for an open apology from Jay-Z. Like, I just find it weird. I'm not trying to just harp on Jay-Z, but we just like talked about.
And I'm sorry, Stephen A. Smith. That's who I'm looking at right now.
To me, is ignorant, and I mean, I've been thinking about that for years now, because my mom loves his fucking ESPN show, and ever since I was, every time I come home, it's on, and like I find him to be so ignorant. He's been actually under hot fire. I don't know if you saw this week about like how he talks to black women, because he was talking to Monica McNutt and was like yelling over her and just like discrediting her. Then he was talking to Andrea and Shanae from WNBA and was also doing that this week. So people have been actually talking about him. But regardless, my point
all
is
these niggas that be yelling, they have problems.
They do.
It's like, you're yelling.
My point is that it's interesting how like basically corrupt capitalism is praised and you will get like raised up.
Right.
But like someone who just does like physical harm to one other person is enough to cancel him and ban him from an award show for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. And so I just feel like innately I'm just like, I hope that
Yeah, it's
Bad
all
Boys does well,
backwards.
and I hope that he does well, and I hope that he, you know, gets the comeback he deserves, because ultimately I'll take someone slapping somebody one time than somebody backing a Republican bill and giving him millions of dollars to it.
Yeah, and I also have like, you know, I want to believe that people can be, I don't know, like obviously everybody is human, obviously, but just like, you know, people can live their passions and be really good at their craft and get, you know, celebrated for that and be like caring about people. And I don't really know much about Will Smith in terms of like charity, but I will say that I feel like he's been very like inspiring. Like, you know, he always has like a word of like facing your fears and doing stuff like that. And seems to just be on like a quest for self-knowledge or whatever. Obviously all of this is my like, you know, this is just all of that I've gotten from the Will Smith brand, but I am happy for him. Like, I feel happy for him. I feel like
I just think it makes us just look deeper into it, because it's just like he got so much pushback for literally slapping one person, and how it just shows you America, but then all like, that all the other corrupt deals that people make and everything like that actually affect structures and institutions that people have to live under. No one talks about it.
I would love to hear, this is where I'm gonna end it.
Yeah,
I would love to hear Felicia Rashad's opinion about the Will Smith Oscar slap.
Why randomly her?
Because I swear to God, I could see her talking about how he don't need to be walking up on that stage and blah blah blah, and they're trying to cancel him while you still watching the Cosby Show. Like,
girl, and you know, and she don't even believe that shit about Bill Cosby.
That's what I'm saying. Now. But I mean, hopefully not. I wish growth for everybody, but that's just the example of like what we're talking about. It's just like
absolutely
somebody like that who's like, you know, condemning this man after a slap, just ready to discard him and all that he's like, all of his accomplishments and
ridiculous
stuff. And now, but Bill Cosby were like, please no, like don't mess up his legacy. Like, what? Anyways,
this has been fun, friend.
I know, that's been really good.
I am about to watch
what are you about
some WNBA games.
Okay. And that's it. Damn, I need to find something to watch. Now I like want to watch something really interesting.
Girl, you should watch. We were watching
Always my quest.
We were actually watching something really interesting. I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, I forget what it's about, but it just released on Netflix. It's this documentary about this like bank robber, like this like serial bank robber who like ended up like, but it's fascinating because they like actually show you the person behind like the bank robbing, and it's like literally it's like reminds me of you, like someone who just like wants to live in nature. He like built his own tree house. He's like
Alexis, you've started this and ended this with making me sound like a crazy person.
He's like an anti-capitalist, and it's like crazy because it's like his like, but then it's like you just have to watch it. But
Alexis, what do you really think about me? I'm like so confused. We need to discuss.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss it next week.
Alexis, oh my God,
you're so funny.
I can't believe you think these things, but
let's talk later.
I love you, and I love all of you guys.
And as usual, email us your topics at
Alexis.
Who am I to judge pod at gmail.com.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Alrighty. Love you. Bye.
Bye.